Okay, folks. We are back. We're back. Uh, Starting a new schedule pattern. I don't have the announcement format for it yet, but that's coming. We're shifting along to a game or something content target as opposed to a daily time schedule. Well, in any event, Saiti, welcome back, and thanks for joining however long you can. Doing better, doing better. Sleep thing still becomes an issue frequently. Need to fix, let's see here, camera 4 there a bit. That's in the lower right. It has been jostled. Construction continues over here. The cats are a little thrown off by one of the results of it. There is a new door. So they're kind of looking at it. Some shelving was moved to the left of camera 4 there, the lower right camera. So they're kind of milling around there trying to figure out why there is no longer a platform there. Yeah, it's that the trying part is the thing that we're working on. I don't like to rely on medication. Let's see, but kitty wise, they're starting to mill around. Ember over there on the tree. Sammy in the play area. You could see Mason's tail for a bit. Sherbet and Mason are both to the left of the lower right camera at the moment. But yeah, we're getting back into Danganronpa 2. That is the target for this week. Is see if we can... I want to get at least 2 streams of it, see how far we can get. We'll be deciding on a week-by-week basis how we want to shuffle things around. Hello, Emperor. Hello, Emperor. Come over for some pets. All right, let's pop on in here. Let's that. Switch over to this. And this. See if we can keep a kitty on camera here. So this is the immediate aftermath of our last trial, where it was Gundam Tanaka had killed Nekomaru. Ember may have gotten bopped. She has a little tiny scab on her ear, on the back of her ear. Might have been a chomp from Sky. They scuffle now and again as much as they snuggle up. Ember is soaking some attention right now. All right, let's see Despite the fact that Nagito has asserted that he was going to help deaths happen, he hasn't really done anything after the first time. And now, after finding something out in the course of the last trial, he has gone from just like groveling at everybody's feet and saying that, this struggle was good because it would show the world the power of the hope of the ultimate students. Now he's kind of derisive towards everybody, so I get the feeling that something in whatever he found indicates that either they're not ultimates or that has disillusioned him about the ultimates in general. So
What's
coming. Why, it's the lonely little Nagito. Are you all alone tonight, too?
What's the matter?
So what's up? Your face looks scary. I see. So you can tell. Perhaps you found out who the traitor is? You know me well.
Wow.
Is what I'd like to say, but unfortunately I haven't learned that yet. I see. So even you don't know, huh? Looks like the final showdown is going to take a little more time.
Hello.
So why'd you summon me anyway? Were you finally going to confess your love?
Hey.
I summoned you because there's something I really need to ask you. It's about the special prize from the final dead room. These are mobile once again. Let's see how long camera 1 can hold out tonight. Switched up the little padded step. The other one was like a thin woolly material, so it tended to cat fur and similar tended to get embedded in it, and it was difficult or impractical to clean after that. So shifted over to this one, which is more of like a thin velvet kind of texture. So at the very least, you can do the whole wipe it down with a damp cloth to get the cat fur off. Yeah, what about it? There was information about 16 people in the file I received. But isn't that weird?
Say what? You don't even know?
Well, there's a traitor from the Future Foundation hiding among us, right? Among us. Including that person. The total number of students would be 16, right?
Isn't that right?
But this file contains documents that were created at Hope's Peak Academy, right?
Of course!
That's right, I just reused the stuff that the former headmaster spent a lot of time making.
But...
Looks like there's been like a little notch ripped out of the top center, the little shield at the join on the binder there. It's got the sort of hole-punched metal loop style binder. And the upper part has like a jagged chunk taken out of it. If this file even contains information about the traitor, was that person also a former student of Hope's Peak Academy? Again, this was really strongly implied in Danganronpa 1. They might have just said it, I don't recall particularly. But some of the students kind of pushed back. Nagito is perpetually scruffy. It's he's gonna grow up to look like Detective Gumshoe, you know?
Who knows? Hey.
Could it be? Is this your doing? Did you slip false information into the file? Were you trying to keep us from learning the traitor's identity by obtaining this information?
Hmm?
What's wrong with that? If it's my job to heat things up, it's okay if I do something small like that, right?
Well...
Monokuma's ability to lie about evidence has only really come up a couple of times. I know once for certain with the Sakura trial. And that was a low point in the trial because that note became a decision-making element and altered both the behavior and how the trial progressed. It'd be one thing if it was like when Byakuya planted false information in Chihiro's trial. Because that is an action of the participants. But if the traitor or the... to a lesser extent, the traitor, that's kind of the point of them. But in the same vein, if the traitor or Monokuma, the organizers of the event as well, plant false information or give false information, then it erodes the point. That it means that the trial isn't them like determining what really happened anymore, since there's nothing to say that the the demigod powered individuals can come in and just completely alter the scene. So the guess right or wrong becomes less certain, in that you can't legitimately guess right. So that is why I don't like it when they do that.
Right?
It's not my point. The point is you already know who the traitor is.
Hmm?
What's wrong with that?
You're getting all riled up!
What are you doing, Emperor? Huh? Alright, let's see if we can see around her here. Oh, you're splendidly correct when you say I knew who the traitor was all along. But even though I know who it is, why do you think I ignored it on purpose? It's just like Monomi after losing her magic stick. The traitor's existence means absolutely nothing to me. Casual dig at Monomi. Their existence means nothing, huh?
No!
That's just how I feel. I'm sure you guys feel somewhat different.
Shing!
The whole concept of the traitor hasn't paid off in either game so far. Sakura as the traitor was meaningless. Sakura never did anything against the group. Supposedly that was like Sakura was supposed to do something if it got too quiet. But that never happened. The reveal was just that Monokuma said, nope, Sakura's the traitor. Which paid off from with a bit of character development of Sakura. But that's kind of it. The character development is nice, but it was ultimately independent of Sakura being declared the traitor. They could have done anything else and had that narrative unfold that way. It'll be interesting to see if they play the card better in this one. In one, they even ignored the possibility of leveraging... Who's it? The mercenary girl as the traitor. They had that meaningless fake out, you know? Okay. You know, the soldier stands in or masquerades as the fashionista, who is the actual mastermind, at least, is the antagonist of that particular is the person behind the curtain. They don't act as the antagonist until the very end. Is the person behind the curtain in the first one, but the fact that they're the person behind the curtain wasn't relevant until the very, very end. And the fact that the mercenary had been a stand-in was also largely irrelevant. The gimmick being that they you had the corpse that was discovered, and the confusion surrounding who it was. Anybody's corpse could have been taken out of the morgue for that. They had a couple of, you know, general-sized females that they could use for that, to emphasize that they didn't know who it was. If I recall, don't recall who they were trying to emphasize who. Oh, that's right. No, they were trying to say, oh, it was the mercenary girl that had died. But I think that was another time that Monokuma essentially cheated. Because, yeah, that's right. That was the whole gimmick, is that Monokuma was cheating at that moment. Yeah. There are those moments where, like, the last trial, I think, has been the high point of the whole series at the moment. And that's disconcerting. Because they've definitely had some rocky spots throughout both of them. And I don't know how far we are to the end of this one. But ultimately, we'll see. We'll see. Let's get back to it. See, after all, that person is the evil Future Foundation lackey who's putting you guys through this awful stuff. That's not entirely true. I didn't really come here to fight or anything like that. Instead, I came here to offer my cooperation, you know? Well, there you go, breaking personal records. What are they doing? What, they're milling all around. That door really confuses them. Less that it is present and more that it is now closed. Hasn't been since quarantine that they encountered an impassable barrier there. Cat quarantine, not, you know, pandemic quarantine.
Huh?
Cooperation.
Hey.
Your purpose is to fill everyone on this island with despair, right? That's why you're intentionally letting the traitor do as they please, right?
Yep.
If that's the case, I might be able to cooperate somewhat too.
Right?
However, in exchange, I want to know who the traitor is. I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
No.
Obviously, that's a big no.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I want to make everyone in your group feel despair. That includes you, too.
Well...
I knew you'd say that. Besides, I just wouldn't be able to handle the sadness when you inevitably betray me later on. Just as I thought, you saw right through me.
You're right.
No matter what the situation I find myself in, my core way of thinking will never change. In order to create absolute hope that shines brightly, stepladders such as myself and despair must exist. You're right. You're a true believer of hope, after all. Messing with some buttons here. Welcome back, Emperor. Sammy and Sky definitely see something there. Hello, Emperor. Hello. I must say, that belief reminds me of that person for some reason.
Huh?
Reminds you? I don't know who you're talking about, but someone as worthless as me reminds you of some... If someone as worthless as me reminds you of some other person, they must be extremely unlucky.
Like...
But you're just as unlucky, right? I mean, the fact that you're even involved is something like that in something like this.
Whoa.
Am I? I actually think I'm very lucky.
Say what?
I'd referred to him before after he talked about how his power worked, as kind of a walking monkey's paw. He gets good things, but they're preceded by terrible things. Like, he got a lottery ticket for a lot of money, but he only found it because it was, like, stuffed in a sack that he was stuffed into when he was kidnapped. Or, you know, a hijacker was killed by a meteorite, and the plane that he was on was supposedly saved, but that same meteorite hit his parents too. I am confused as to how did the plane never take off? Because if a meteorite could hit somebody on it, you'd think cabin pressure would have been compromised. But events like that surround him, so he comes out of it for the better. But the net change is not as drastic.
You don't know?
And you say that coming across this much despair is a rather rare opportunity? I can't rely on anyone on this island. That's why I have to be the one who does it. If I can eliminate despair from this island, I won't be a stepladder anymore. I'll become true hope. I'll become an existence that could even be called ultimate hope. Interesting. That's the first time he's called out the motivation is him becoming the ultimate hope, as opposed to creating it in general. The two of you are alike. You definitely remind me of him. I'm trying to do her. There you go.
Hey.
There's one more thing I want to ask you.
See?
Who are you waiting for on this island? Looks like I'm right again. You're definitely waiting for someone on this island. Is the person you're waiting for already on this island?
Hey.
Answer my question.
That's...
If that's the case, if that person is already on this island, wouldn't that be exciting? Maybe that's what the countdown is until they arrive? I don't get how the numbers align with the 5 days left. Maybe that's hours within the current day? We must wonder who is next. The Hellhound earring, yeah. Gundam's earring. There was a plot point in one of the in the first trial, that that earring, really the dropping of that earring and how you had to find how he had to find it again, was a critical piece of evidence. After being released from the funhouse, we went back to living our less than ordinary lives. And just like before, our day began with us all gathering at the restaurant.
Jeez.
You know, every time we meet up here, it makes me realize just how crazy this whole situation is. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, that's still working. Make sure this is all fully functional. Seemed like it might be a little more quiet than I wanted it to be, but it seems to be working fine. The restaurant certainly feels more spacious than before. Of course it feels spacious. There were less than half of us here now than there are. Now than there were at the beginning.
Stupid fool!
Huh. Get it together.
Oh my!
Did you hear something?
Hey!
It's Nekomaru. That was Coach Nekomaru's voice. Is somebody doing something terribly tasteless? Let's find out.
Huh?
What are you talking about? He's no longer.
What's up?
Kazuichi laughing.
I'll beat you up!
What are you laughing about? You keep I'll beat you up if you keep grossing me out like that. It's not cool. I was up all night working my fingers to the bone.
Concerned.
More importantly, I'm starting to get tired of the seasonings in this restaurant.
Jeez.
Seriously, I'm starting to realize how valuable Teru Teru was. Despite Teru Teru, his skills were useful. Don't ignore me. I'm trying to talk to you about something important.
Huh?
Important?
All right.
This, it took me all night to make.
My!
That a Nekomaru doll?
No doll! I'm Minimaru!
Minimaru.
Huh?
Now the question is it just, he figured out how to make a robot, or is it actually going to be essentially Nekomaru reborn? I took some parts from him to make it. What do you think? Awesome quality, right? Okay, so it is just like a tasteless thing. I see you're all mourning the loss of your dear friend. Well, I made an action figure of him for you to remember him by. So that every time you're sad about his loss, you can look at this horribly insufficient facsimile of him. More like a toy, but isn't it adorable?
Are you serious? Thanks.
Well, I mean, Akane likes it. It's so cute. Thanks, I'll keep it.
Well...
Never said anything about giving it away.
I'll beat you up!
Don't be so stuck up. Your stuff is my stuff, right?
Whoa!
Hey, now that's a bully's logic. Oh man, where are the kitties hiding? There's one.
Man.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I made this to cheer you guys up anyway. As long as we have it, we won't forget, you know, about Nekomaru's sacrifice for us. Yeah, they don't present Akane as a very deep individual. In fact, they go out of their way to push that idea that she's kind of drifting. She is like the ultimate athlete kind of character, but she doesn't apply herself. Like, if she has to work too hard at it, she just doesn't want to do it. And, you know, she's also very impulsive. She is not too bright, especially when it comes to, like, the trials and whatnot. Her primary contribution is to agree with something that was said to her. And then when that thing is immediately refuted, she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's not true then. That, and it's kind of pretty much her fault that Nekomaru was almost killed the first time. So her she's not contributing very well right now. Standing here today because of him. I don't recall what Nekomaru's action that could be viewed as him saving them would be. Like, I guess somebody else could have been killed instead of him. So if we're going to prevent something like that ever happening
Engines
again,
revving.
we got to fight too, right? We can't just keep running away.
Huh.
I got to admit, I never thought I'd hear you say something that awesome. Of course. In the end, Gundam told us to never give up on life. Only all of the other trials. Well, the character arcs associated with the trials were as good as this last one. This is the first time that there has been a really strong motivation. Like, everybody's had, like, they have a reason to get out. But this is the first time, I think, that we've had a really good, I need to take action right now motivation. Mondo was close. Since that was the I'm threatening to release your secrets thing. He at least had a I need to take action at this moment. Sonya here? So I will never give up. I shall fight until the very end. Gundam, please watch over me.
Miss Sonia?
What did you think of my little pep talk?
Oh my.
Did you say something?
Are you kidding me?
Was up all night memorizing that speech. So it's been a running gag that Kazuichi is chasing Sonya around, as far as he really wants to have a more intimate relationship with her. Initially it was just she was just kind of oblivious to him. But now it has become like she started to seem to be developing a bond with Gundam. They didn't present it as like an intimate relationship, but it was at least like a deeper friendship. And as a result of that, she would, like, when they would split up to investigate, she would go with Gundam. Despite Kazuichi, like, leaping forward and saying, hey, I could pair up with you, it would be, oh, I'm already going with Gundam. And Gundam would give big speeches and similar, and Sonya would, like, back him up. As well, during that, it went from Sonya being kind of oblivious to what Kazuichi was trying to accomplish to almost being outright dismissive of his actions. Like, right there, like, what'd you think of my speech? And she says, I didn't hear anything. It's now like she's actively ignoring him. I wonder if that's going to pay off with something. Are we going to see that be an actual plot point? And not just a, ha, isn't it funny?
Jeez.
And there's the punchline. I really like this. Thanks, Kazuichi.
I am Minimaru.
Man.
Only half as happy to be thanked by you.
That's right.
Oh, by the way, you can also use that to massage your sore muscles and pressure points.
You serious?
That's amazing.
Of course.
I made it after all. Seriously, thanks. I'll take good care of it. Kane looks really happy.
Hey.
Anyway, what happened to Nagito? I haven't seen him like I usually do. You don't have to worry about that guy. He goes solo all the time.
Well.
But still, I'm a little worried about how he was acting during the last class trial. Well, he's always been dangerous, but he's crossed the line, you know?
Hey.
And that's even more reason we should avoid him.
But still.
But even if we do avoid him, what are you going to do if he approaches us? Nagito's sudden change was really weird. I wonder, did he figure something out that we're not aware of?
Now then.
Anyway, Hajime, isn't it about time you told us about what that was all about? Huh? That? You know, what Nagito said during the trial. You still don't realize it? Geez, get it together. You're supposed to be the symbols of hope, aren't you? I forgot, except for Hajime, of course.
Hey, bastard.
What did he mean, except for Hajime?
Huh?
Are you really the traitor after all? Kazuichi... Oh, hey there, Quinlay. Yep, there are some real rough patches in this series, but overall it's still enjoyable to play. And I like this kind of game. But how are you doing? Did you join us because of the game? No, it's not like that. Didn't really want to say it, but I guess I have no choice. To tell you the truth, unlike the rest of you, thanks. I really like how it turned out. I always like to show it off. So we zoom in a little bit there. And I'm always down to show it off a little bit. Hey, well, thanks for joining us in any event, Quinn. If you want to, whether you want to chat or lurk or whatever, that's fine. Well, apparently I was never part of the Hopes Peak Academy's primary department. I'm a reserve course student from the reserve department in the reserve building, where all the reserve students are.
Huh?
Reserve department? It means, unlike you guys, I don't have an ultimate talent at all. Apparently, I'm just a normal person. Is that all? What? That's it? Dude, don't ever scare me like that. It's not something that I can just brush off, especially since it's about me. I thought I just forgot. I thought I got into Hope's Peak Academy because I had talent all along. I mean, for a school that is considered that prestigious, that it is the training location for the absolute best of the best, you know that the competition to get in outside of being chosen has got to be ridiculous. So there's the implication that that's one of the ways that they get donor money, is through that. But you also have to expect that there is a testing process. I can't imagine that getting through those tests is not a demonstration of a great deal of capability. And I also wouldn't expect that they would just take money and bring a total goober in, because even if you graduated from the reserve course, you would still have Hope's Peak on your resume, My whole life, I've just wanted to feel confident about myself. I thought getting into Hope's Peak Academy meant I had finally become someone I could be proud of. Not some backup student.
Right?
Kitties are rampaging around in the background there. Let's see if we can spot them. Just see him entering the tube. Sky. Cheer up, Hajime. Doesn't matter if you're from the reserve department.
Of course.
She's right. No matter what, you're our friend. There's a saying in Japan.
Listen.
Fear is grateful for the danger.
Hey.
You're saying that all wrong. Oh. It's never been brought up, but I wonder what fuchsia paint would look like in this world. I think we've only seen actual blood a couple of times. There was that time in the first game in the the area that we were normally supposed to be cut off from. I don't know if there's been another time. Usually it's this, hot pink looking stuff. So what would hot pink paint look like? So everyone was here. It was a real close battle. Okay, so... Alright, yeah, she's gonna announce that she beat another mono beast. That's why she's all battered.
I am sorry.
Apologize, I was trying to cheer you up, but I ended up saying the wrong thing. Sonya continuing as if Mono Me hadn't even appeared. All of them doing that. That doesn't matter, stuff is just hard to say sometimes.
Huh?
That's weird, maybe you can't see me.
Huh?
What the heck, you're covered in blood.
Hmm?
Oh, you saw me. Yes, that's right, the Mono Beast this time was very strong.
You?
Gross, don't get close to me, get out of here.
What?
No gratitude. I'm being treated like filth.
Hey, hey.
Why don't you clean that blood off? We're trying to eat. I'm ashamed of myself.
Ding, 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 ding.
There we go. Now then, allow me to report to you all once again. After a fierce battle that's never been seen in history, I've finally succeeded in conquering the last Mono Beast. Because of this, it's finally possible for you to travel to the final island. Hey, we might be getting near the end. I mean, I've still got some streaming days locked in for this, so I doubt we're going to get to the end today, but we'll see. I see. What a thin reaction. It's like I'm surrounded by tons of shabu-shabu from an all-you-can-eat restaurant. I don't get it. Is it... I can't imagine that it's... Is she asserting that everybody's reacting as if they are sort of like food stuff? Since that wouldn't react? Or is it that she's implying that everybody's reacting as if to the shabu-shabu that she would be surrounded by? Like that particular food is not exciting. I don't know. Tell me, this again, you're gonna say stuff like, it's not like we can get off this island, why bother going to the new island? Well, it's true that I don't really expect much.
Don't misunderstand.
But who said we weren't gonna go? Obviously we're gonna go.
So...
Assuming we were thinking about running away was a mistake.
I'll show you my serious side.
Because if we can't run, we'll fight. I'll crush everyone who's put us through this.
Hey, hey!
Fight? Seriously? That fearsome group is called World Ender for a reason, you know.
What are you saying?
Did you forget what you said earlier? I only said that because I was trying to impress Miss Sonya. This is why I don't consider it sad that, like, Sonya is dismissing him like that, that she doesn't reciprocate. Because he's kind of flagrant how he's effectively just trying to get in her pants, you know?
What?
Don't brag about that.
Settle down.
If you have the power to fight among yourselves, then direct that power towards our enemy.
All right.
Let us go forth. Offense is the best defense.
Damn right.
You're right. Now's not the time for us to be bickering. I don't really get it, but when Miss Sonya talks like that, my blood starts to boil.
All right.
I'm getting pumped up. Let's charge our way to that new island.
I'm starting to get pumped up.
The Future Foundation, Monokuma, Mono Me, I'll crush them all at once.
That's...
Even me? You guys seem reliable. So, and Kazuichi does what he's capable of doing, you know, can repair things, and that's come in handy. Fuyuhiko, being one of the characters who has developed the most during the game, is at least like an active asset to the group. Like, he wants to help. Chiaki here, active asset. Hajime, active asset. Akane, not so much. Talk like you're not included. You're our friend too, you know. You're right.
Leave it to me.
And I gotta do my best too. Granted, Chiaki was the one that was talking to us like it was a preschool educational program, you know. How many sides does an octagon have? Let's count them. What could possibly be this device that can travel between 2 floors of a building? Do you know what it is? As we left the restaurant, the expressions on our faces were clearly different than they were before. They were filled with strong will and determination. Armed with that, we began walking toward the last island. But the clouds in my heart still lingered. I couldn't stop thinking about the reserve department. And that filled me with this strange, uncomfortable feeling, like a small bone was lodged in my throat. Okay, so I get that that would be uncomfortable. It'd definitely be uncomfortable. But, like, a nervousness or a dread or something like that, I usually don't equate that with choking. Like, that. Like, is he walking along, like, hacking and coughing? Is he rasping like he's having trouble breathing? I don't get it. But I tried not to think about it. It'd be hard if it's like choking. Hey there, maybe. Welcome. Smile at hope in the name of despair. With the Mono Beast gone, we crossed the 5th bridge and arrived at the final island. Oh, hey, they
This is
teleported
the
us.
last
That's nice.
island.
Very industrial looking. The big buildings on the side have a similar vibe. Well, they have kind of like that cargo container, kind of tiny house stacking thing going. But it seems as much to be kind of a... It looks like as much they're going for just a chaotic buildings look as opposed to something that is actually supposed to be structured that way. Just they slap stuff together with largely glue. Last island. Enormous buildings towered everywhere as if the entire island were one gigantic city. Have I heard of Kick? I have heard of the streaming platform Kick. My hesitancy about dealing with it is, one, the very, very obvious drive that they have about allowing the promotion of gambling content. Not that I don't think it can be valid to have it visible, but that the platform came into being for that reason. when Twitch started cracking down on gambling content, they made a streaming platform that would allow it. The other thing that they made a big deal about was how it was going to be, free of censorship. We're going to let people stream. It's probably within limits. They don't want to run into the pornography problem. Though I don't know. But from my understanding, the crowd that they were pulling on as far as the gambling content is not a population associated with a mellow or friendly environment, let's say. Would I consider it? Absolutely. I've still got the multi-streaming rig set up. So that's not a problem. It's more I don't look at it as a platform that's like, yeah, that's my sort of place, I could be mistaken. That may change. That opinion may change. Yep. They don't have policies against that. To that extent, it's weirder that Twitch had that policy. I'm not aware of any of the other platforms that have that kind of policy. You can't simul-stream. Like, you have to be exclusive at lower tiers. If I was getting like an exclusivity deal, like they reached out and said, Newt, here's a bunch of monies because we want you to focus on our platform. That would make sense. Hey, there's exclusivity built into that agreement. But as we'll compensate you for the effort that you're putting in to make our platform have any value. The fact that Twitch, while still being the dominant platform, is concerned about simul streaming, to me says two things. One, they're not showing confidence in the quality of their platform. If you have to go to pretty much all of your creators and say, you can't broadcast to other platforms at the same time, we want your content to be exclusive. Then what you're saying is, we don't want to risk viewers to look at your content and say, despite the fact that this is showing on Twitch in another platform, it's showing on Twitch in another platform, so I choose the other platform because I prefer that over Twitch. If you view that as a risk, then that's, again, demonstrating that you don't feel confident in the quality of your platform over the other ones. That's the primary thing that I think it demonstrates. I think I said that there was a second thing, and it has fled my mind. Yep, maybe you'd really expect that people would go where they like the experience best. So again, if you're worried that they're not going to stick with your experience, then maybe you need to look into that. But yeah, that's why we're seeing a lot of interest in other platforms. It's, to some extent, It's the same thing that's happening with Twitter right now. Twitch does have some nice things, like the user experience of the streaming window is better. There's a lot of elements of the YouTube Chrome that don't need to be there. You're watching a stream. Or at least it would be nice if you could choose not to have them there. Like edge-to-edge stream next to the chat, as opposed to only being able to go widescreen at the expense of the chat kind of stuff, you know? Those kind of things help. There are some other features that I think are useful, but Twitch has kind of become mired in how they do it. Felt very sci-fi, as though the island was a snapshot of an urban metropolis from the near future.
I guess it has an ambiance befitting of a final island.
Well, this looks very different than the prior picture. The prior picture had an almost like verging on industrial punk kind of vibe, you know, big smokestack factories, raggedy tall buildings in construction. Let's see if we can find some of that missing stuff, you know. Vendor Street. Let's check our Tamagotchi. I know Amazon is big on demonstrating value in a change. So if a change was put into place, its value had to be demonstrated at the time. But for that change, all changes after that have to constantly demonstrate an improvement. So unless the removal of the feature has a noticeable improvement, then the feature won't get removed. Value for the company, maybe. So it needs to be something that shows an increase in the, you know, the key performance indicators. That doesn't mean that the average person loves it, that they're like, I really like feature X. It's that there's more viewership, there's more click-through, that kind of thing. So implicitly, there is a value for the user because they're choosing to use it. But it's not like they're polling people, you know. They're looking for hard numbers that show that. But it's as much, once it's there, if subsequently something about that feature were to cease to be as useful or as viable for people, unless that gets researched, unless somebody says, let's test this, I don't think it would be removed. Making the flat profit go up, even by percentages, year by year, encourages looking at that short term. So if I can make the number get bigger this year, there is less consideration about necessarily the impact it might have subsequently, as long as I can make the number keep going up. That doesn't mean that this particular company operates that way. I don't think they do. I click that? I did not actually click it.
No.
Very cyberpunk Monokuma. Yep. It's that balance. I mean, the goal of a lot of these companies is, as it would be expected, is to make money. So if the change that they make is this will make us steadily more money, then often that is because people will still use it either despite or potentially because of that change that you made. That's why, again, it's some of the changes that Twitch has made are kind of puzzling because they act as things that might push smaller creators away, and larger creators are not a permanent fixture. You know, as we've seen with some big names, they take contracts with other platforms and similar. It's like you have to fight to keep them. Another option that you would have is to make it so that developing creators and smaller making it so the bulk of your content is more approachable could also be useful. So either you need to make sure that all of your people are watching those big creators to an extent that compensates you for any investment you had to keep those big creators, or you need to keep developing your portfolio of other content generation options and make it so that people want to come there to watch it. Said, I understand with a big streamer that you might have a contract with them for exclusivity, but that still makes me wonder. It's like, but why are you afraid of them going to other platforms? When it's not one of those big names. With those big names, what you're trying to say is, we have this person. If you want to see this person, you have to come to us. The draw is the big person, not the platform. With non-big creators, the draw is either what they're doing or what they're creating. You don't know. So treating them as if you have exclusivity with them doesn't make a lot of sense. Anywho, not to say that I'm not enjoying the conversation, just making sure that this keeps flowing. That's what I was referring to, maybe, is if you have a big streamer, the draw is them, not your platform. So you're essentially holding that person up and saying, the only place you can see this super cool individual that you want to see is here. With anybody that isn't in that territory, often you get to the point of you are here on our site. Like, you're here on Twitch. We are providing a way of potentially connecting you with something you might want to see. And that's another reason the look what this big creator is doing prioritization on things like the front page is kind of weird. Not 100%, but the idea that you're already here. If I'm here for that big creator, that's where I'm going to go. That is to say, you don't need the same type of advertisement for somebody big. It's when you're smaller, exposure is critical. Like, you need everybody to see you. I was wondering who was lured here by the smell. I expected Akane, though, not you. Wasn't lured by the smell or anything.
Anyway,
Looks like this street is full of food vendors, but as you can see, there's no customers or staff. Only the food is here. Normally, a street like this would be bustling with activity, but there's no one here. It's actually pretty creepy to think about. The last big event in Danganronpa was the trial for the death of Nekomaru in the funhouse. And it ended up being Gundam Tanaka killed him. But with a really excellent motivation pattern for it, since despite the fact that I hated the origin of the motivation, like why it was done, they were locked in the funhouse and weren't going to be given food until someone was killed. Terrible for the narrative of this game to do that, but Gundam's action was essentially, like, his motivation as he described it during this was, I'm not going to sit here and wait to die. Either I'm getting out or you guys are getting out. But we're going to take action. We're not just going to sit here and starve to death. And that was amazing. Like, how it all played out worked for that. It was excellent. It reinforced who Gundam was, how he acted, that kind of thing. Amazing. There were some moments in the trial and moments in the investigation that were terrible. But that payoff was great. We're well past the school. Both the school setting of Danganronpa 1 and the rooms of the school in Danganronpa 2 we have gotten well past. The plushie factory. White smoke is billowing from the building in the back. Yeah, quite a bit has changed in Danganronpa. It's got Monokuma's face on it. I'm sure it's a shady factory anyway.
Hajime.
Good timing. What's up, Chiaki?
See?
This building clearly looks suspicious, right? I was thinking it might be good if I thoroughly look around inside, but
Well?
since it clearly looks suspicious, I thought it'd be dangerous to go alone. Oh, well, take this. Then, do you want to go inside together? Surprised you didn't say okay. Why are you hesitating? You're the kind of person who waits until the very end to eat their favorite food, aren't you? How could you tell?
Well?
I like to eat my favorite foods first.
See?
So instead of the warehouse, let's start with the factory. Yes, you're right. Guess I'm going inside. I mean, it's reasonable to be hesitant. Heck is this? Okay, so it takes the trees, loads them, like, chops them up, and then forms the piles of tree bits into Monokuma parts. was being manufactured one after the other and being carried away on a conveyor belt was Monokuma. Conveyor belt is endlessly moving through this enormous machine. The coconut tree carried by the conveyor belt is processed and eventually made into this stupid thing. Hello, Sammy. Hello, Sammy. I mean, I'll give them the conceit of the fact that they use, like, repeated paper dolls. Okay. For the graphics. But I'm as interested, where are they getting effectively infinite coconut trees? Like, I haven't seen an indication that they have sufficient trees on these islands. They would be getting depopulated very quickly. I mean, maybe there's sides of the island that are just being clear-cut, you know? And he insists on attention. The Monokumas are being tossed into this gigantic basket, one after another. They better not be real. Picked one up with my hand. I see, so these are plushies. Monokuma plushies. Oh, the real Monokuma is sort of like a plushie, too. But unlike him, these are probably actual plushies. Isn't the resemblance uncanny? They're my life-size plushies. Life-size plushies? I was planning to hit the big time with these. That's why I'm making them like crazy. Yoo-hoo! I'm gonna be rich. But you've made way too many. You're gonna be overstocked when it's all said and done. Monokuma's life-size plushie. I don't want it. I see. So this place is for manufacturing life-size Monokuma plushies. This will be important later. Kind of messed up place is this? I don't know, maybe. I mean, I could have a toggle for it. Like a light-dark mode kind of thing. That's kind of the... It's the same way that I can change the cameras, you know? This requires a little bit of fiddling. But that would be manual. I would have to choose either at the moment or heading into the stream whether we would be in light mode or dark mode. Don't look down at me, on me. Do you really think it's just for life-size plushies? There's a lot more Monokuma merch in the goods warehouse next door.
Hey, hey.
That's not to say I wouldn't make use of it. It's not even like I would have to have two different art assets. I could always have like a, you know, kind of like like a mask over it to lighten it up. What should we do? Honestly, I really don't feel like going.
Still.
What if there's some kind of important clue? What are you gonna do? You're right, then. We should go there just for a little while. Break room. Sounds like a place for housewives to gossip, but it doesn't seem like there's anyone at this factory. That is a leap, Hajime. Oh, it's a break room. That's where housewives would go to gossip. What now? That's where the factory workers would go to take a break. This shouldn't be something he's unfamiliar with. It's not clear if Monokuma is fully an entity. There was a post-credit scene at the end of Danganronpa 1 that after the mastermind of the first event, who is supposedly the mastermind of the first event, is dead, and they had said they were controlling Monokuma. After it's dead, Monokuma gets back up. And we don't have an indication of somebody controlling Monokuma here yet. So there's that aspect, that it could be a puppet. I don't know. I would call it evil. Like, the professed goal, whether it's a puppet or not, is to maximize despair. And that's not a good thing to promote. Like, that's not just like, hey, you know, we're making profit, or, you know, developing new weapons or something like that at the expense of human life. That's like a basic villain kind of stuff. You could still say, like, yeah, but you're being evil about it. This is that, like, promoting despair is reaching your kicking puppies level. No, it doesn't seem that there's a purpose for it. Maybe just generally they'd like to maximize despair amongst the human population. So far, it seems like a weird anime villain obsession, you know? Like, it's sort of their thing. Not like it will ultimately lead to the next stage of human evolution, or it's, like you said, power is some sort of despair generator that will remove the need for fossil fuels or something. Nope, just general evil. Let's have more despair. It's your standard, you know, I intend to create chaos in the world, or I shall bring darkness. No real reason, just general evil. Without thinking, I peeked into the piled-up stacks of cardboard boxes. There's a Monokuma calendar, a Monokuma sandbag, even a Monokuma guitar. First there was the Monokuma archive in the funhouse. Now there's a plushie factory and all these goods. How full of himself is he? Mascot popularity doesn't last forever. I've got to earn the big bucks while I can. A mascot that isn't popular anymore is like a piece of candy without any sugar. In other words, it has no reason for existing. Starting to talk even crazier. Could this be a continuation of the concept? Is that the Monokuma entity, the robot, has been, like, set aside and is now actively seeking to make to try to make a place for itself. CDs. The stacked up stuff, it's a bunch of CDs. I thought these were going to be video games, but they're just music CDs. The jacket says Monokuma's collection of songs and ballads. Is he planning to release an album? Character songs are all the rage these days, but I'm not all that interested in derivative works like that. Never heard of a mascot selling his own character songs. Plus, it looks like he's already produced his 100th song. See, the 100th track is a festive psychopop dance rap that he performs with all his might. I don't even know where to begin. Looks like a Monokuma panel, but why so many? I was thinking about using these to decorate the stores that sell my merch. Make them look all boom. Then they'd stand out, you know? No store would sell your stuff.
You're so stupid.
Of course not. You're such a fool. That's why I'll open an official Monokuma shop. I'm thinking about opening chains all over the world. Of course, the main attraction will be my life-size Monokuma plushie. Can't believe you thought that far into the future when you made these. Your business is doomed to fail.
Hey!
Enough already. You have no business sense anyway, so just stop it.
No.
Don't say that. Let's do our best together. We'll be as popular as Pogs were in the 90s. Anybody remember Pogs?
Hey!
Don't you remember how long those stayed popular? Besides, if you're serious about opening a business, you've already committed a major mistake.
I won't forgive you.
Because there's no merch of me.
My little sister.
Oh, Mono-me, my little sister. Don't you know the Aesop's fable about the rabbit and the bear? Not a tortoise?
Hey,
Long time ago, there were two old guys.
Hey!
Two old guys living together?
Shing!
The old guys thought rabbits aren't as popular as bears. The end.
Ooh,
Do you even need the old guys in that story? Why was she so shocked?
In other words,
So even if I made merch of you, it's pointless. Half Pink Rabbit is so lame. You don't even have 1 ounce of good fashion sense.
you stupid brother!
You did this to me. You're the one who has no fashion sense. References.
Ugh! What a hopeless way of snapping back.
But honestly, I can't help but feel like I've made too many panels.
special bleeding service.
So whoever wants to decorate the room, please do as much as you like.
Here.
What are you waiting for? Hachime, let's run. Huh. We ran out of the warehouse, narrowly avoiding Monokuma's plan for inventory disposal. It's like you just got tired. Yeah, you're right. Wait. Saving. Hey there, MB. Welcome. Made me flee this place relatively quickly, but let's make sure we didn't miss anything. To some extent, I like the idea of Monokuma being Monokuma, as opposed to it being like a puppeteered robot controlled by a mastermind. The idea of this weird, like, semi-supernatural entity being something that wants to spread despair, to me, makes more sense. You know, oh, he's a robot-controlled thing. Like, no, he pops out of nowhere. He's this weird thing that just makes people try to do that, you know? Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly that, MB. The idea of the you know, bi-colored teddy bear being some sort of, you know, horror from beyond time and space makes for a better story, or at least a better concept to me. Like, that's what he does. That's what he enjoys. As opposed to, like, there's a person that thinks that way. Cardboard boxes, various goods inside. There are even household appliances and musical instruments. They're probably used for packaging goods before they're... The cardboard boxes are probably used for packaging goods before they're shipped. I had previously said that getting into Hope's Peak in any event should have been viewed as an accomplishment, but the intelligence that Chiaki and Hajime have exhibited in the near past make me concerned on that front. Like, making it as if identifying what an elevator is, or what an octagon is as far as sides, or what shipping boxes are used for. Maybe Hope's Peak is a duality style organization. They have people that are supposedly the most talented, like supernaturally talented, but simultaneously they have the most brain dead people as far as knowledge and ability to apply it. Well, let's see. As far as what I think might be going down in this chapter, we're on the final island, so we have to, assuming there isn't like there was another island all along, we need to have the reveal of the traitor and some sort of ideally narrative associated with that. We have to have the reveal of what the clock is for. And we have to have the reveal of what this place is. I could see there being another chapter out of that mess. So I'm hoping that we're going to get the traitor and a general inkling of what might be going on this chapter. Because we need to have that before the big, before the final battle, as it were. I was actually I actually rewatched the 2 seasons that Crunchyroll has of Assassination Classroom over the past several days there, maybe. Looks like they're waiting to be shipped, but I don't think these are ever going to leave the island. Some of the writing in the right now is concerning. A bunch of books stacked up high. What in the world are these? Monokuma's poetry collection? Oh, stupid. Who's gonna read this?
Hey.
There's another book here, too. Let's see. Monokuma's Most Precious Moments.
See?
It's the actual title of this book, but it's a collection. Yeah, I don't mean like... I mean, there are moments where the actual writing quality is down, but I mean the quality of the text, whether it's translation or like the grammar is bad twice in a row here. But it's a collect of nude photos. Did they run out of money to pay an editor? But Monokuma is already naked.
Yep.
I know. Tamagotchi. Jabberwock Army. They got tanks. That thing over there. Is that a tank? Is it real? Not just that, there's a lot of other stuff here that looks really dangerous. Huh. Wasn't aware of that, Emby. I mean, Danganronpa 3's on the schedule at some point. At least, you know. Planning on doing it in the future. This is the helicopter that Monokuma used to execute. Is this that used to execute Teru Teru? Interesting. Okay. This helicopter. Don't screw with me. Did he just try to punch a helicopter? What happened? It's nothing. I'm fine. I couldn't help punching it. I just ended up hurting my fist. I don't think you've thought this through very well, Hajime. Like, if it was Sakura or Nekomaru or even Akane that had taken a swing at the helicopter, I can imagine having some expectation that there might be positive results as far as net damage to the helicopter. But Hajime, Doesn't strike me as the superhuman fighter type. It's not with the way he runs, anyway. I mean, I really appreciate... Oh, no. It didn't matter whether they chose Fuyuhiko or Hyoko. Both of those were bad choices as far as actually getting character development. I don't care if the characters die off very fast, but they actually need to do some character development before they execute people. The only one that is allowed to have limited character development is the first death. Everybody after that should be getting steady character development. Everybody should. It's okay if the development of their arc is truncated because, you know, they die. But to kill, like, Danganronpa 2 has been systematically killing off characters just as they get a bit of an arc. Like, as soon as they start changing as a person, they off them. Now, in the case of Nekomaru, it's, hey, we got Nekomaru back. He's a cool robot now. Oh, well, we better kill him then. You know, we better actually kill him now. Weird choice. Like, oh man, Gundam and Sonya are developing a relationship, and we're starting to see Gundam exhibiting some new behavior, that extreme shyness when Sonya starts interacting with him. Something that's kind of at odds with the serious loner vibes that you get from Gundam. Well, we better kill him off then. Even the first death in this one, man, Byakuya is acting as a real leader. He's competent. He's doing good things. Better kill him off. That's why Fuyuhiko is an anomaly right now. He's still alive. And I think that's only because Hyoko and Fuyuhiko simultaneously began character arcs. So Fuyuhiko currently dodged his execution window. I'm so... Hajime disappointed and feels weak because he punched a helicopter and hurt his hand. Instead of what? Would you not feel weak if you had shattered the bones in your hand? Would you not feel weak if you had dented the helicopter? I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't feel weak, but that feels like a very high bar. Which one was Asahina? Oh, no, see, Danganronpa 1 didn't pull that as fast. Like, there was still a bit of that going on, but they weren't as swift. And to some extent, I don't mind it, like, if Fuyuhiko or Hyoko, like, if Hyoko had killed Fuyuhiko, that would still have been an opportunity for a character arc. Like, Fuyuhiko was remorseful that it was on behalf of him that the journalist was killed. If Hyoko had not forgiven him and had actively sought, like, vengeance, that would have still been a character arc. They can die during that. But there needs to be some sort of flow to it, or else it just feels like you're randomly killing people without developing some sort of drive for an individual to do it, aside from, like, especially in this case, oh, suddenly, as of right now, I want to be off the island. That's, again, where Danganronpa 1 did way better. Hey, if you kill somebody, we'll give you a pile of money. So not only will you get out of this sealed building, but you'll get monies, too. Oh, if you don't, if somebody doesn't die, I'm revealing these secrets. And if, with those secrets revealed, they show them, hey, these are things you don't want people to know. Stuff like that demonstrated a drive. They weren't perfect because we didn't get opportunities to find out what everybody's, like, what they were until after the fact. That is a pretty regular failing in the series so far. In 1 and 2 is post-fact narration. Like, oh, they're dead, the trial is over, now let's talk about the why. And that why was not demonstrated until after, If possible motivations for everybody were being regularly established, again, showing us, like, the trajectory from where they're coming, then there's always that question of who could it be? Like, could this person's motivation trigger right now? These are the... It's not a bad series. Like, I'm playing it for a reason. But there are moments so far where it is extra painful because they are coming close. Like, this could have been excellent. But instead you went for the, we're being edgy and shocking. No, you're not. You're just kind of bumbling the premise. This place is boring. Boring? What are you talking about? There's a tank.
You.
Like strong dudes. Weapons don't excite me at all. Oh, a window into Akane's preferences.
Obviously.
A real man fights with his fists. It goes for women, too.
All right.
Want to battle a little? If you win, you... No. No thanks. Boob pillows. Couldn't quite see that it was a surveillance camera. This is a tank, right? Is it real? Can it move? It's a military truck. There's something in the cargo box. Firearms. There's a ton of them. A lot of different weapons, like guns and anti-tank rockets, carelessly stacked. Is it really alright to handle these carelessly? It's like they've got some soldier cutouts in there. Like little fake people. It's a military truck. Unlike the airplane at the first island, this looks like it actually has an engine inside. I don't even know how to drive. Besides, it's not like I can escape this island by driving off of it. This appears to be a military base. Is that so? Despite the fact that this island is quite small, the military technology here seems rather extensive.
All right.
These might prove useful when the time comes to combat the Future Foundation. Useful? There's no way we'd be able to operate stuff like tanks and heavy weapons.
Huh?
Really? In my country, even a child in grade school can operate a tank, no problemo. See, every now and then we get potential glimpses into the world that Sonia lives in. And that's a big window. That is like the doors thrown wide there. Not like they're saying that every citizen from childhood is trained to be a potential soldier, to be a reservist, to hold a gun. No, every child in this country is trained to the extent that they can operate a tank. Like, one, that's a very particular skill set. That's, to me, that implies that a great deal of their military is in tanks. So otherwise you'd think like, well, we want everybody to be, you know, a foot soldier, but they didn't. Maybe they're implying both. Maybe they're expert, you know, they're expert in many fields. No problemo. A course in modern warfare is a required class in all of our grade schools. It's the child soldier course. It's actually really popular. Seats tend to fill up very quickly. An obsession with anime, and now this? Sonia's country never ceases to baffle me.
However,
Weapons are only weapons when humans start to use them.
I am concerned.
No one uses them, they're nothing more than scrap metal. I feel like they might be trying to say that, like, showing her view on, like, what things are dangerous. Like, yeah, it's a tank, but unless people are going to use it, who cares? But the way that she said it comes off as, well, we wouldn't want to waste a good tank, because then it might as well just be a pile of scrap metal, and we can't have that. Right. Unfortunately, this stuff in the base probably won't be useful to us.
Please wait.
No, that is wrong. I've discovered a puzzling document in the tank operators. It's the Future Foundation's insignia. Jabberwock Island Development Plan, probably document. What's this? I assume it belongs to Monokuma and was placed rather ostentatiously. I don't know how much we can trust it. Do you think it could be a useful clue? Monokuma probably did leave it. Like you said, it's hard to know how much we can trust it. So what does it say? I could see that. It would be... I could see Sonya reacting in different ways to Byakuya. But I actually don't see Byakuya acting very differently to Sonya. That was the most irritating part of Byakuya, is his character arc was a binary. He started out as a terrible person. Like, he was a jerk to everybody, and he viewed the murders as a game, as a puzzle to solve, and even set out to make the puzzle harder early on. Eventually, he develops it a person and decides that he will begrudgingly help save his own life. That is his arc. And we're going to discount the horrific alternate universe that is presented based on a choice that you make in the game. The non-canonical ending of very gross. But yeah, I don't see Byakuya being terribly different. Sonya, on the other hand, would be presented with somebody that is as affluent as her background, but also a terrible jerk. So we could see something there because we don't have anybody that is being terrible to Sun. Like, how would she react in an antagonistic scenario? Beyond what is written here, I do not know much, but it does document Jabberwock Island's redevelopment plan at considerable length. What is that plan? To place Jabberwock Island under the Future Foundation's control and prepare it as a central headquarters. Was she supposed to be alive? I thought one of them was holding a funeral picture of Toko in the alternate reality one. The memorial picture. You know, the classic, usually black and white with the black ribbons. That, not that she had been, killed, but that she died. A central headquarters for the Future Foundation. I thought Jabberwock Island was a tourist destination. Hey there, Galacticness. Welcome. Doing good. Hoping that I've got a handle on the sleep situation there so that we stop missing streams. We'll see how that goes. How about you, though? How are you doing? In actuality, there was something written in here that caught my attention. The travel agency that managed Jabberwock Island went bankrupt, so the island was uninhabited for a long time. Did you manage to catch the plague or, other more common sick? Either way, I hope you get well soon. Because of that, the island was unaffected by the incident, which allowed them to easily gain a foothold. Wait, hold on. This place was uninhabited for a long time. If that's true, the maintenance has been way too attentive. The items at the supermarket are always stocked, and the hotel is still really clean. Could it be that the future foundation's Foundation's responsibility? Oof. Unlucky there, Galacticness. Cannot discern from this passage alone. Simply reading this will not help me grasp what those words mean.
Well?
However, there is one more thing that caught my attention. I think I missed a line there. Thanks for joining us in any event there, Galacticness. There's more. Do you remember the guidebook to Jabberwock Island in the library? It was written there that the central island houses a large administrative building. However, we could not find that building anywhere. We even commented on how strange that was, right?
However...
But according to this plan, the building that the Future Foundation is planning to use for their headquarters, could it be that same building? They're planning to rebuild it and use it as the Future Foundation's headquarters, or so it is written. Heck, it's so inconsistent. How do you rebuild a building that doesn't even exist? What's going on?
Perhaps.
We were so distracted by all of the horrible situations that kept happening, one after the other. We might have overlooked a more pressing issue. That is, the mystery of the island. But what's really going on? I feel like the murdering is a more pressing issue than the history of the location you're at. Like, the whole concept of the Future Foundation and what's going on the island would inevitably be of interest to them in the escape process. But the most pressing thing is the killing. Like, if you're dead, you're not getting off the island. And Monokuma has, at least twice so far, pulled some BS that will ensure that somebody has to die. What with the stupid despair virus, or the I'm going to trap you in a pair of apartments and make you starve until you kill one another. Both of those circumstances really say, the whole death game is the most important thing. But yeah, you might be right, Sonya. I guess it's also true that the history of the island could be more important. What's really going on? This mystery doesn't make any sense. No matter how much we think about it, there's no reason behind it. Oh, wait. Missed it. Saw it just as it was fading out. How the helicopter flies in.
I knew you could do it.
I mean, look at this run. This is not the run of a person that could expect a positive result from punching a helicopter. Alright, well, this is where they make the mono beasts, I guess. Bunch of strange machines lined up in all directions. Feels very sci-fi. Sea King Industries. Huh? They're a company that specializes in manufacturing electric insulation and other machine parts. They're a mid-sized company with only 100 employees, but they're the biggest corporation on Jabberwock Island. This place looks like a research facility. For a mid-sized company, this is a pretty nice facility. I guess so. I only read about them in a pamphlet next to the reception desk. Besides, the size of the company isn't the issue here. This company obviously doesn't make machine parts. So what the heck are they making here? I mean, they could make machine parts and then immediately use them to make giant killer robots. I guess as you've got the resources, handling your own logistics chain is probably useful. You know, why rely on some third party to provide you with the pieces for your giant killer robots when you can just handle it all yourself? Then you don't have to worry about giant killer robot delays. He's right. It's like they're making something more dangerous. Seems like it might be a good idea to thoroughly investigate this place. Automated machine looks like it's making something. Well, that's not foreshadowing at all, is it? Is this a mannequin?
Maybe.
It's a humanoid machine. Is that a robot?
You serious?
Seriously, how can they make robots? Okay. So, between Chiaki apparently feeling that it's important to tell people what basic shapes are, Hajime deciding that it's a possibility that boxes aren't used, as boxes. Now we have Kazuichi being like, they can make robots? Yeah, that would be unheard of. It's not like somebody has demonstrated the ability to make a giant sentient robot out of the shattered remains of a human being already. It's completely unprecedented in this story. Just how far did technology advance without me knowing? Do you think Nekomaru was made here? And then Hajime calls it out, like, they can make robots. Yeah. Like the one that we saw just recently.
That was close.
It's a similar humanoid robot. It's possible, maybe.
Hey!
But why would a company that manufactures machine parts have access to this kind of technology? flip it on its head. Why would a company that manufactures super advanced robots just sell machine parts? I don't know. Maybe this place is somehow connected to the Future Foundation, too. This machine is making another machine? The finished product looks like it's modeled after a four-legged animal.
Hey, hey!
Doesn't that animal-looking machine remind you of anything? Are you talking about the Mono Beasts?
Maybe...
Is there any chance that those Mono Beasts were created here? The Mono Beasts were created here?
Fine, fine.
It really has the look of a different writing team showed up at about the time of the last trial, where they are simultaneously good at writing a dramatic character finale, you know? But they are equally terrible at writing believable dialogue between individuals. Like, the scenario is excellent. The story that is supposed to unfold is excellent. But it's being delivered by, like, elementary theater kids. That's what this place is for. No matter how much you insist it's a game, people won't be convinced if a place like this doesn't exist, right?
Bye-bye!
He said to the audience. That's why it's just fine.
There's something wrong with you.
What did he mean by that? He wasn't making any sense at all. Doesn't matter who's convinced, because I'll never be convinced.
What's going on?
I mean, this place is for manufacturing machine parts. No, it's for manufacturing robots. Are they all able to create such a dangerous robot in a place like this? Does this mean Monokuma took over this place and modified it to do this? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Huh? Are you serious?
Perfectly sane laughter. Kazuichi, get a hold of yourself. Huh? Why? Because you just started laughing all of a sudden. Well, obviously. What else am I going to do except laugh? I mean, it's just so childish. What are you talking about?
Hey,
Well, there's a computer over there that I started snooping around, There's a computer over there, so I started snooping around to see if I could find any clues. Whoever was using this computer must have been sending emails to his buddy or something. He was probably trying to write a manga or something. He sent one of his story ideas to his buddy. Such a horrible, delusional story. I was so embarrassed to read it that it gave me goosebumps. A delusional story? So, what was written in the email? Well, I'll start with the idea for the story. Apparently, global riots are occurring in various regions around the world. And these riots were caused by high school students. I mean, seriously? That's not realistic at all. Okay, so this has to be in the past. And this is referencing, I believe, the group of students that were within Hope's Peak that decided to turn on everybody.
yeah.
So these riots just kept growing as people grow more dissatisfied and frustrated with society. until eventually it spreads like an infectious disease all over the world. We've talked about this before, but one of the core conceits of the game is the idea of hope and despair being like opposed forces. But what he's describing is a uprising against the state of the world and managing to spread that. Not out of the question. Especially in fiction, the idea of some sort of kind of global rebellion. Okay. And then you could look at the Hope's Peak University as a sort of beacon of the status quo. Even more so, it is potentially the source of the status quo because they train the elite, the top of the top, you know, that are destined, based on how it was described, destined to be in positions of leadership and similar. So Hope's Peak being involved in such a scenario makes sense. But to then have this organization be like, we are actively promoting despair. No, we're into, again, kind of anime villain nonsense. The, like, I'm going to bring chaos to the world, you know? This is not a goal. This is just being evil. Footage of the riot started getting circulated, and the strange incidents started occurring one after another. And strange incidents. A hopeless anxiety instantly spread throughout the world as the end of the world gets closer and closer. End of the world? I know, right? It sounds like something a lame high school band would think of as a song title.
Hey.
Whoever wrote this needs to come up with better story ideas, because this wasn't realistic at all. I mean, students causing a riot on that scale is totally impossible. I'd never believe it for a second. Big, exaggerated wink at the camera referencing the first game's content. So, in the addition of the new door in the room, one of the shelving units had to be moved around. And now Mason and Sherbet are fascinated by the section of wall that is no longer easily reached. But they also never really went over onto the shelf that was moved. So, I mean, cat's gonna cat. The classic being things like, if a cat goes through a door, they can be immediately bored and go back. Like, oh, I've been in that room before, or there's nothing cool in here. But if you close that door immediately after they come back in, sometimes they'll turn back around and be like, why is there a closed door? What are you hiding from me? Bring this up because Mason was reaching as far as he could, kind of balancing on a couple of paws along a in order to reach whatever it is he can see, chirping away at it. Sky will try to slip through doorways, like into sort of like the utilities room nearby. He'll try to sneak in there, and when he gets in there, he'll trot around crying, being like, what's in here? Isn't this neat? Like, well, where is the cool thing that is hiding in the room? And like, that happens every single time. Though I do have to wonder if it's as much I'm not supposed to be in there. Because once he's in there, he will try to hide. He'll try to evade you. He'll look around, but if you try to take him back out of the room, he'll usually run off for a bit. I've taken to just letting him stay in there until he's really bored. I learned a valuable lesson. I should always delete embarrassing emails right away. About that, are you sure it's okay to say that it's just a made-up story? Of course. I mean, unrealistic things might happen in real life from time to time, like being transported to a resort island that has been completely emptied of people and forced into some sort of giant death game by a talking teddy bear and talking bunny.
Of course not!
There's no way this is real. It's more impossible than a notebook that kills people just by writing in it. References. You're right. Just a lot of unimaginable things that have kept happening to us, so maybe I'm getting a little confused. Excuse me. But the world ending, there's no way something so unbelievable could actually happen. Well, at any rate, it's clear now, isn't it? What's clear? This used to be Sea King Industries, but it's not anymore.
I see.
After this island became uninhabited, Monokuma took over this place and modified it without permission. Yep, NB, yep. I think Death Note to me is a distillation of the thing the thing that I think is good about the Yu-Gi-Oh animated series. And that's their ability to make things that are very mundane looking be fantastically dramatic. Like, just ridiculously over-the-top dramatic. The classic scene that was often being was kind of a meme for a while was Death Note's "I'll take this chip and eat it," where the movements and the kind of the direction, kind of the camera angles, the sound, the lighting surrounding him reaching into a bag of chips and eating a chip. Was made, like, has dramatic, like, ecstatic chorus music going, like weird lighting effects, just to make it this amazing moment. Another one was a guy writing in the Death Note, and the way he's using the pen to write is if he's slashing with a sword at it, and is occasionally like driven back by the force of the impact, you know? Just so over the top. It's wonderful. I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the most common thing in that series is this like 30-second to a minute moment where they're talking about drawing a card, and then they draw a card. The body language, the movements, the internal dialogue surrounding that single action. He did all this just to shock us. That's the reason?
That's right.
It's not so weird. This whole time he's been doing similar stuff to us. He's been trying to get you to kill each other. That's not quite the same as just trying to shock you. Like, you know, like the style of writing and television program that has risen up in the wake of the Game of Thrones and similar fiction. That is often like for shock value, like, oh man, this guy just died randomly. That would be shock value. Like, hey, we're gonna have you murder each other. That's not trying to shock you. So, to me, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is taking the idea of hyper exaggerated fashion models that was brought out and in mundane settings that to me, at least in my experience, we initially saw in the Zoolander movie. Dialing that up more, and then putting it in a shonen fighting anime. That is what JoJo is. You take the over-the-top battles and overwritten, like, verbal proclamations and the like, but you add to it the excessively hyper stylized fashions, the just like ripped individuals, and the posing. I like season 1 and 2 of JoJo. I have less like for it ever since it became Pokemon. Well, I'm sorry. Ever since it became Digimon. But the initial vampire arc and then the Pillar Men arc, I liked. And there have been a couple of them with there are good moments after that, definitely. And I believe they start to circle back towards the end. But to me, it's those initial 2 seasons where I really liked it. But why?
This is bad.
That's right, MB. The stands are the Digimon part. Initially, it is about essentially a vampire and his minions. You don't have like the summoned personas kind of thing. Instead, you have a school of martial arts that is able to project a type of energy that can hurt / destroy vampires. And eventually, it ceases to be about that. I could see it. There is a very emphatic parallel between JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and how the Persona games have developed. Maybe there's a bunch of crazy rich dudes who are into this stuff. They're the ones who are making us kill each other. They get off watching kids kill each other. That is a narrative that is often used in death games.
Hey!
Wait, hold on. Now that I said it out loud, that's actually a terrible assumption. If that's true, then our fates are in the hand of those rich, perverted jerks. It's terrible in the sense of, oh, I don't want that to be true, as opposed to, oh, it's implausible. Sounds like something that would happen in a work of fiction. But the thought of it actually happening in reality is definitely unsettling.
Yo.
Hajime, I was looking for you. What's up,
Wow.
Fuyuhiko? I was thinking you've probably finished exploring this island by now. You're right, I think I've explored everywhere at least once for now.
Damn right.
Then do you want to meet up with everybody and discuss things?
Huh.
I figured it'd be annoying if we all went back to the hotel for this, but there's a street nearby lined with food vendors, so I told everyone to meet
Later.
up there. Heading over there right now. Hurry and come over. After letting me know, Fuyuhiko left the area. That's another thing they could have done, I think, to make Danganronpa 2 have a stronger environment for this kind of scenario. And that's that each time a new island is opened up, it's not that they have the option of going to all the islands now, it's that that's where they go. Danganronpa 1 had a similar problem, but it still kept the space confined. But the same idea of every time they opened a new area, that's where all of the action primarily happened. They would return to home base periodically, but the incidents would center around the new area. So let's just move to the new area, confine them there. Like, oh, there's now the funhouse. Well, we've been moved to rooms around the funhouse. Our last session of Your Turn to Die, if you recall, MB, ended right after the end of Chapter 1. Like, right before we got into Chapter 2, I believe. Or maybe right at the end of Chapter 1. I think it was you that said it was a cliffhanger as a result. For letting me know, Fuyuhiko left the area. He actually took the time to tell everyone about that, huh? Now is not really the time to be impressed by something like that. It'd be bad to make others wait. I should hurry over to the street with the food stands. Tamagotchi. Oh, that's right. I saw you show up, Okami. Sorry, did not say hi.
Huh.
But yes, Sherbet is all cozy and napping. Actually, we've got a few of them doing that right now. Sky is napping. Ember is napping. Sammy is napping. Sherbet is napping. Don't see where Mason is hiding out.
Huh?
Looks like everyone's here. What about Nagito? What about Nagito? Who cares? It's not like he's our friend or anything.
Like,
I couldn't get in touch with him. I don't know where he is or what he's doing.
now then.
So how'd it go? Did you learn anything about the Future Foundation? Not really. Like, I feel like I learned stuff, but I also feel like I didn't learn anything. At least with Kazuichi, it makes sense that he would be so oblivious about what he, like, when he's talking about stuff. So I feel like I didn't learn anything except the fact that the Future Foundation took over a factory and has made it, or at least took over a factory that was, or made a factory now able to produce very advanced robots, and seem to be making something like the Mono Beasts. And I found an email that, while seeming like fiction, very much references the idea of, you know, a world-ending like organization or movement. So, like, you definitely found some information. Let's see if Hajime mentions it. It's not clear which information we found is believable,
However,
if any. However, I believe there is no question that the Future Foundation is behind everything that has been going on. That would be an interesting character collision, Enby. You get Makoto's power of friendship nonsense, and have it collide with Nagito's we will make hope by death and struggle. Though I would say it pre-Revelation Nagito. Post-Revelation Nagito is going bonkers in a different direction now. Again, drifting anime villain. As opposed to, we shall achieve maximum hope on the shoulders of the likes of me. And now it is, if we can struggle through this and we can beat this, and using my help, then I could be the beacon of hope. How much of that was him bluffing Monokuma, we'll see.
Well,
are we sure about that? Huh? What are you saying? If it's not our enemy, then what are they? They're our ally. There's no way they'd trap us on this island.
well, yeah.
That's true, but there's something I've been thinking about. Monomi works for the Future Foundation, right? She's pretty much admitted it by this point. But even though Monokuma is forcing us to kill each other, Monomi has been opposing him.
Huh?
You mean, pretending to oppose him, right?
That's wrong.
No, I don't think she's pretending. They clearly hate each other. Then it's possible that the enemy of our enemy is actually an ally. Because she opposes Monokuma, You think she's our ally?
Please wait.
Even if they oppose one another, is it not possible that they're both our enemies?
Starting to get pumped up.
Like a three-way... Like a three-way battle. That's kind of hot. Like... It paints her relationship with Nekomaru and some of the ways that Nekomaru phrased things in a different light, doesn't it? Like, previously there was that pronoun game that Nekomaru was playing, where he's like, you know, if you don't shape up, I won't do it with you anymore. With the idea being that he would no longer spar with her. But her asserting that, you know, some configuration of battle is kind of hot, shifts it from being a misunderstanding joke and more of a, like, it's phrasing, but we do mean that.
Hey,
Why, after all this time, are you suddenly backing up the Future Foundation?
Whoa!
Are you talking like that because you're actually the traitor that's working for them?
Damn it.
Don't be an idiot.
I won't be fooled.
No way, you're clearly suspicious. I mean, if you don't...
Settle down.
Kazuichi, shut up.
Listen.
There never was a traitor. Monokuma lied to
Oh
us.
my.
Lied?
Well,
It is simply a false entity that Monokuma made up so that we'd be suspicious of each other. It's a reasonable assumption.
you insolent fool.
How can you not believe in your friends after everything we've endured together? Weak. How weak.
Man.
Instead of facing the problem directly and overcoming it, you're desperately trying to run away. No, she's stating something that's relatively obvious. It's, unless the traitor shows themselves or somebody actively, and we can prove that somebody is acting against our interest, then what relevance is the existence of a traitor? It's not necessarily that one was, you know, can't be there or has never been there. It's that they don't matter right now. And if, much like their fixation on the Future Foundation as opposed to the what can we do to not die?
Such despair.
That weakness is hopeless. Where have you been this whole time? Wonder where your thought process wandered off to. As usual, you guys keep running around in circles. What are you, hamsters? Oops, if I compare you guys to hamsters, will I get yelled at by that weakling who dropped out?
That is...
Now then.
Does that... You asked where I've been this whole
Well-
time, right? Well, I was in the middle of looking for someone. Weakling who dropped out. Now, is he using dropped out as a... they died and they're out of the running now? Or is he referring to some information that he has from the class roster? Looking for someone? I thought that person might have already arrived, but I guess it was wrong. Or maybe that person is hiding in a secret location and carefully watching us.
You...
What are you talking about? Are you saying there's someone else on this island besides us? It's probably the survivor of the killing school life.
Huh?
How about it?
If so, a lot of things might start adding up, don't you think? Are you talking about Byakuya? He's the survivor you're
What?
talking about? Huh? I see, you guys have only reached that stage. What stage? You're not making sense at all.
Not making sense.
Jeez.
But still, if you think about it properly, you might be able to figure it out. Why would Byakuya, a survivor of the killing school life, die in vain like he did at the very beginning?
Right?
Don't you think it's strange?
That is
What
an
does that
order.
mean? The issue is not with what he means. Please take back what you said about Byakuya dying in vain.
That's right.
Yeah, listen to Miss Sonia.
Well,
Yeah, what she said. You've been acting very strange lately. I do not like this version of Nagito we have been witness to.
Huh.
I don't like you either. Well, I never liked you in the first place.
This is troubling.
Oh, looks like I'm being hated. Well, that's understandable. There's no way you guys can even comprehend my suffering.
Well,
Knowing the truth can be pretty painful in its own way. The truth? What truth? What do you know? Curious, are you? Why don't I tell you guys that after we found out who the traitor is? So, the behavior patterns that Nagito has started leaning hard into are things that I don't like in the storytelling that Danganronpa has done several times up till now. And that's a character knows something. But part of their character archetype seems to be that they won't tell you. Like, oh, well, you guys don't know, so I'm not going to tell you. It's like, dude, your motivations do not include everybody just dies. And often it's like your statement implies that people should know this, and they're just withholding it for the sake of narrative causality, narrative convenience. Like, well, I can't tell you this, or the next thing would be too easy. That's the writer's fault. If having a character actually behave in a fashion expected for that character would reveal too much about the story, or would spoil parts of the story, then don't write the subsequent part of the story such that it can be spoiled by that piece of information. If you can't figure that out, then maybe different path in the story.
actually,
Yeah, it's something that Nagito found out changed how he views everybody and what his apparent goal is based on his conversation with Monokuma. To some extent, it's been mirrored. It's not quite it's not a reversal so much as the path is now different. But no, I'm referring to this this particular behavior right now. This is why Byakuya was an obnoxious character that eroded the believability of the scenario in the first one. Is he was acting in a way that endangered himself and everyone else. No, I won't tell you what I know, you'll just have to figure it out. And would let the trial reach a point where both the investigation and the trial would reach points where if they had known what he knew, then it could have proceeded more smoothly. But the way that it is withheld often gets to a point where the wrong person is about to be accused. So either, like, Byakuya didn't know up front, or he was willing to have everybody die because they weren't as smart as him. Nagito previously was exhibiting behavior that was, I have anticipated how the trial is going to play out. So take a look at this. Like, you're going to want to have this ready because it will be important for you to defend yourself with evidence. So that is him saying, I know how this is going to go down. I need evidence, and framing it as you're going to want this evidence. The movie ticket scenario. But him suddenly being derisive of everybody based on what he's found, I don't know. Like, he's been very straightforward with his admiration for everyone. And the fact that he's trying to find the traitor strongly implies it's not him. The way he's been going about it on camera as well. So, if he doesn't, like, worship all of them anymore, why not just get this over with? I would agree with Byakuya doing it to look good if he actually then stepped in and said, look what I know. Look what I found out. You peons couldn't have found the same thing that I did. Instead, how it ends up coming off pretty much every time is, oh, well, I knew that all along, but you over there, why don't you explain it to everybody so they know too? Like, it has the vibe of him pretending to know what he's doing and sort of in that cartoonish way where nobody ever buys it, you know? Even Kyoko did that on a regular basis, but at least Kyoko was shown, like, working with you saying, look at this. It was kind of silly to do the, well, I need somebody else to corroborate what it is, as opposed to explaining to them and saying, this is what I found. What do you think? It ended up being, here, you look at it, draw your own conclusions, and then let's not talk about it. Byakuya was claiming that he had secret information, and that's what made him smarter than everybody, but then never demonstrating it. Like, given his background and how he asserts that he would behave, I can't imagine him not taking the opportunity to drive home that he is superior given the opportunity, as opposed to taking actions that very clearly imply that he's not. Nobody ever buys the, like, I totally know the answer and I'm not going to tell you, but you over there, the one that actually is saying they know the answer, why don't you tell them the answer? To tell you the truth, I still haven't figured out who the traitor is. But it won't take me very long. You guys don't have to worry. I'll weed out the traitor, even if it costs me my life.
What?
You're gonna weed out the traitor.
Wait!
So I've already said there's no traitor. I'll bet in the end you're gonna raise your hand and go, I'm actually the traitor, right? You're a funny guy, Kazuichi. But why don't I tell you guys that Why don't I tell you guys that after... Okay. Why don't I tell you guys that after we found out who the traitor is? if I'm able to wipe out all the despair on this island, will
This is exciting.
will I become the ultimate hope? Ultimate hope?
You...
What are you talking about? Have you finally lost your mind? Yeah, his proclaimed motivation went from, I want to elevate at least one of you to, like, ultimate. Like, that's my goal, is to maximize hope. And I see that as making sure one of you survives the trials that happen here. Like, I'm sorry, that I expect at least one of you to make it through these trials, and so it's important that the game continue, because the harder these trials are and the more of them there are, the more refined that result becomes. And now it is Nagito himself will take actions that will cause a maximization of hope with him at the center. So it went from, I will help you guys through questionable means, to, I'm going to do this myself. So it's very much that his faith in everybody else is gone.
Now then.
I should get going, but if you see Monokuma again, there's something I want you to tell him. Tell him he doesn't need to provide a motive anymore. Huh? Tell him not to worry, because I'm planning to go all out. Besides, the next one will probably be the
Could
last.
it be?
Nagito, what does
Bye
that
now.
mean? Nagito ignored Chiaki's questions and left us. We were powerless to stop him. This is another change, is that previously, Nagito had said he will help them do it. In the first trial, it sounded like how they presented it is he was willing to kick things off. But this time, but that he wanted to help somebody that wanted to do the killing, in order to make things as hard as possible, to make the trial that much more difficult, so that the triumph would be that much more after each one. But this time he's effectively said, yeah, I'm going to set out to kill you guys. It's that shift from, you will step onto my shoulders, and over to, I will accomplish this at the expense of you. Nagito ignored Chiaki's question and left us. We were powerless to stop him. No, you've still got Akane. Like, I'm pretty sure she could bring him down. It was clear to us that trying to stop him would just be useless.
Hey.
I don't want to think about it, but could he be planning a kill?
Are you kidding me?
Kill who? Who's he gonna kill?
Damn it.
Based on how he was talking, it looks like his target is the traitor.
Please wait.
There's no such person. I mean, the notion that one of us has been deceiving us all along, that's as absurd as one of us was planning to kill people. Never believe it. Sonia said I couldn't believe it either. I don't think any of us could do that. But what if it's Nagito? Or what if whoever it is has forgotten about it? What if the traitor has forgotten that they're the traitor? Then they're not the traitor. There is no memory in your mind of being the traitor. Then how can you actually be the traitor? Something we've touched on numerous times before. It's the, oh, is this, are we doing this because of our stolen memories? You can't tell. Because if you've lost those memories, then as far as you are concerned, you never had those memories. I don't mean like it wouldn't concern you to have lost the memories. It's that the you that is you is that you because you don't have those memories. It's kind of like I think it's Buddhist, but the idea of there being no actual self. That since your consciousness is defined by the state of your memories at each individual moment in time, that there isn't a continuous thread. That every moment your self is unique. So there isn't a continuous line. Even if we don't go that far, you can say that every experience you have has the potential to change you as a person. Just like how I forgot I don't have a talent. Regardless of who he's targeting, there's a high chance that he's planning to kill, right?
That's right.
Then we gotta tie him up again. Forcing him to stop is the only way.
Oh.
It's impossible. Nekomaru's not even here anymore.
I'll show you my serious side.
I've got to take what it takes to deal with someone as weak as
I'm
him.
here too.
Huh?
And that's a yes, right? Just leave it to me. Once I come up with a plan, we'll meet up again. High up Nagito, right? Kazuichi is right. It's dangerous to let Nagito wander freely. For being cautious, we have to act fast. What is this indescribable anxiousness I'm feeling? I hope it just means I'm thinking too much. For the time being, we decided to finish our exploration of the final island and return to the hotel. It was already dark by the time we returned to the hotel. For some reason, I'm really tired today. I feel that. Since I walked around all day, I was able to obtain several clues. Although I'm not really certain if you can even call these clues. Instead, I feel like we're just suffering from more mysteries that don't make sense. This isn't good. As soon as nighttime hits, I can't stop thinking all these pessimistic thoughts. This might be a bad habit of mine. I should just get some sleep for today. Rest my mind for a while. And then I'll give this some more thought tomorrow.
Actually,
Words are extremely dangerous. Unlike letters, words cannot be undone with erasers or with a backspace. That's why you need to be extremely careful. Same goes for me. There was a time in my past when I went through a lot of trouble because of that. That's right, when I was being trained at the safari park. At the time, there were two animals at the park that I got along with. One was a squirrel named Senor Dietrich, and the other was a fox named Cha-Cha Jr. To be honest, Cha-Cha Jr. was really stupid. If a female employee tried to have a serious talk with him, he'd just stare at her boobs the whole time. That's why Senor Dietrich would order him to steal panties. That idiot would get real happy when he exchanged the panties he stole for Dietrich's old undies. Also, this one time, the three of us went to a steakhouse, and the waiter asked, "How would you like it cooked?" Cha-Cha Jr. proudly said, "With fire." Senor Dietrich was pretty crafty. He knew how to play Cha-Cha Jr. He made Cha-Cha Jr. abduct a fawn and drowned it. Then he saved that drowning fawn himself. And he made Cha-Cha Jr. tell everybody about it. And he really did some shady things. Anyway, the three of us were getting along together. We were living a fun life in the safari park. That's right, until the day I ended up saying those words. I accidentally said this to Cha-Cha Jr. Foxes are squirrels' natural enemies. The next day, I stumbled across what was left of Dietrich's... Now see, that looks like Dietrich Sr. He had been eaten. Good thing I immediately tattled to a male employee so that he could put down Cha-Cha Jr. with a hunting rifle. Even now, I regret saying what I said back then.
What the hell?
Squirrels have it rough. They have so many natural enemies.
Ahem! Hope's Peak Academy School Trip Executive Committee has an announcement to make. Good morning, everyone! Looks like
Morning,
today is
get
the
up.
now then. Let's show some enthusiasm.
Pretty sure everyone's starting to meet up. For now, I should head over to the restaurant. Hey, Chiaki. Hey, Chiaki. I wasn't sleeping. Yes, you were. Totally not sleeping. I was playing a game. You were sleeping while you were playing a game? There's always time for gaming. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, you look more tired than usual. Last night I had a weird dream that woke me up in the middle of the night, so maybe that's why. A weird dream?
Well?
It was a Monokuma puzzle game. Like one of those tile falling games where you make falling Monokumas disappear by creating a chain. No matter how much I played, I just couldn't beat it, and the Monokumas just fell endlessly. Why did I have a dream like that? It's probably because we saw that factory where those Monokuma goods are made. Yo, Hajime, check it out. I'm already eating. As usual, you're eating a lot. We might get locked in a place like the funhouse again. So I gotta eat when I can.
Eat well, shit well.
For now.
Okay, now that we've finished our breakfast, let's jump right into the next topic. Hey, I'm still eating here. I just got here. I haven't had a chance to eat anything yet. It's okay. I'm pretty much done eating. You selfish
You
little...
know, right?
And of course, the main topic is about our plan to capture Nagito that we're supposed to carry out today.
It cannot be.
Are you really going to do it? Of course, I spent all night coming up with this plan. That means I haven't slept for 2 days straight. You think my effort should count for something?
Hey, bastard.
We get it. Hurry up and spill that plan of yours already. Well, I thought up several plans, but in the end I figured that a straightforward plan would be the best. One of us will be the decoy who lures Nagito into the lobby by telling him we need to talk to him there. And then, at the best possible moment, the 2 task force members will move in and swiftly capture Nagito.
All right.
That's the plan. What do you think? It's easy to understand, so I'm cool with it. Anyway, are there any bananas left?
You...
So now I will present each of you with your
Of
roles.
course.
Since it's my plan, I'll take the role of commander. I won't let anyone object to that.
Hey.
But commander sounds like the most fun.
Hey.
Didn't I just say I won't let anyone object?
Right.
Next, I'll present the 2 task force members. These big roles go to you 2, Fuyuhiko and Akane. Makes sense, at least Akane. And I guess part of the implication would be, you know, the little super Yakuza would also be good at subduing someone violently. Yep, sure thing.
Jeez, you're pathetic. You know, right?
And the person burdened with the core of this plan, the decoy who has to lure Nagito, I'll give that role to Chiaki.
No way.
What did you just say?
So...
I mean, it's not like I ever agreed to this plan.
Hey.
It's gonna be fine. It's not like you're gonna tie him up. You're just gonna lure him.
Well...
Besides, there's no way I'd ask Miss Sonia to take on such a dangerous role, you know. So please, I'm begging you.
Hey.
What a rude way to ask for help. If Mahiru was here, she would have beaten you up.
You...
I mean, you did say earlier that you definitely can't accept killing. Isn't that right? I need your help to stop another killing.
Hey!
And didn't I just say I'm begging you? Why are you snapping at her all of a sudden?
Oh.
Fine.
All right.
Are you going to do it? All right, then this lineup is perfect. Sonia and I have been given roles. What should we do? Haven't been given roles. Sonia has the role of princess. That doesn't make any sense.
For now.
And you're on chore duty. I want you to supply the rope we need to tie up Nagito.
Bow down.
Denied.
Whoa!
Listen.
If Hajime has nothing to do anyway, he shall accompany me.
Miss Sonia?
No, like I said, he needs to supply the rope.
You must not.
This is not a request. This is an order.
That is an order.
An order, I tell you. There is somewhere I must go. Fine. If Hajime and Miss Sonia are free, it's fine.
I'll leave that matter to your discretion.
Damn it!
Repeat that. If Hajime and Miss Sonia are free, it's fine. To object to so forcefully, where do you need to go, Sonia? I hope that there's some payoff to this with Kazuichi and Sonia. Because they've been building up the level of direct conflict they're coming into and how it seems to be wearing on Kazuichi. I shall tell you in due time. We will be discovered if I speak too loudly.
What did you say?
You're going to be alone with Hajime at a special place?
Damn
For
it.
now, we'll carry out the plan tonight. All of you, make sure you prepare your bodies and minds.
Huh?
Is our commander going to be okay? His energy seems to have dropped pretty drastically. Let's all disperse for now. Now then, please come to the hotel lobby in 30 minutes. After our planning meeting had ended, I quickly finished eating my breakfast. By the time I had made it back to my cottage, it was already close to the time I agreed to meet Sonia. But I think we're going to wrap up early for the night tonight. Still not at 100%, so I'm not going to push it. As in, I don't intend to nod off on everybody. But getting back into it, I've got planning on doing at least one more Danganronpa stream this week, if not 2 more. Again, want to make progress. We want to see if we can push on through this. I'm changing the schedule's pattern to this because I do want to start finishing some of the games. Up until this week's plan, I had been juggling an increasing array of games, and I was starting to find that while I do like all of them and I want to finish all of them, I want to finish them. And I'm just making that take longer. So we're going to try to knock them out and just move through the pile that we have to get through. If you have comments about that, feel free to swing by the Discord. I have a LinkTree link in the video descriptions. That can take you to the Discord as well as my other channels. There you can see cat pictures, or pet pictures in general. You can talk with the rest of the community and me, and you can also drop suggestions for games that might be interesting for the stream on the suggestion board. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, and I will see you again tomorrow. And thanks for your concerns and considerations, folks. Have a good night, everybody.